basically I started the company after I graduated undergrad. We'd always had issues with throwing weights breaking and shots breaking and just the overall quality of indoor equipment. And basically I just tried to start making it better. I was looking at how much they were being charged. We were being charged for this stuff, and I'd look up the price of lead, and I'm like, well, why is lead's $2 a pound? Why does a shot cost $98? I'm like, the little plastic shell couldn't possibly cost that much. So I just started doing some research, figuring out how the things were made, and tried to figure out better ways to do it, make things more durable. Started very slowly. It was in my parents' basement. Didn't have a whole lot of cash to get things going. Basically came up with my designs, which that meant literally sitting watching TV with a hot glue gun and cutting webbing and trying to make mock-up harnesses, stuff like that. And it just sort of grew from there. There have been weeks where I've worked 20 hours a day, 7 days a week, where I literally work 140 hours, and it seems impossible. People don't believe that's possible, but if you go up in the Arc and you see how the kids are training nowadays, how Ross Bunchek, the new throws coach, the shape you're in when you graduate college as a competitive athlete is incredible. I mean, I was a machine compared to what I am now, and the only reason I was able to do that is because I was in a physical condition that was a lot better than normal. So I think I was able to handle lack of sleep, lack of proper food, and just overworking myself. Like I said, that's caught up with me now. But when I started, though, it was just more of a fear of failure. I just did not want to fail. If I was going to start it, I was going to do it no matter what. Well, we've pretty much sold to everybody. Every D1 school that is competitive in track and field. I mean, there's lots of schools out there that don't have track and field when you get to D3 and D2 schools and stuff. But I mean, it's somewhere like 500 clients we have now. I mean, we have more clients than we have Division I universities, and these are almost all colleges too. I don't sell a whole lot to high schools directly because high school clients typically just buy from like a big company somewhere. They'll go on Amazon, whatever. But universities will want things more specific. They'll want custom things. I'm the only person that offers anything custom in track and in throwing. So that was another avenue. But basically, every school in the SEC, every school in the Big Ten, everybody. I mean, I can't name them all because it's all of them. When I first started out with a couple big clients like Nebraska, LSU, Georgia, some of these big guys, it was like I was talking to celebrities on the phone, and now it's just another order. Not to take away from those people, but literally it doesn't matter who it is buying from me. You get in line and I make it and put it out the door. It's more just that's what's neat about track and field is everybody's equal. Everybody gets to throw the same equipment. So it's pretty cool being able to do that for people now that, the big guys who could afford the good equipment now get to throw the same. Now the small guys can afford to buy the same equipment as the big guys. So that's one part I really like about it. I think it's going uphill a lot. I mean, I went to practice yesterday watching the kids train. And the stuff they're doing would have killed me. They've got some freak athletes on the team right now, so I think my records are probably going to get broken here pretty soon. But just seeing how the facilities have changed has been incredible. The tarp, what we called the tarp, the partition in the gym, it had holes all through it. When I was there, and we'd have weights go out on the basketball floor sometimes, and don't tell Mark and Barbara that. But just having that new partition there is incredible. It makes it a lot safer for everybody. Granted, he has better equipment now than he ever did before since I'm supplying him with equipment, so that there's no shortage of throwing equipment that the kids have now. So Moore's I call him Moore. Coach Moore has always done a very good job of keeping good equipment in everybody's hands, as good of equipment as you can have. When I was in college, he bought me a Nishi hammer, which is the most expensive hammer on the market. And granted, I probably wasn't good enough to throw it, but he didn't want to have an excuse to have me not have the best stuff out there. Now the kids actually have my hammers that I make, and they go farther than the Nishi. And so, from an equipment standpoint, they have much better equipment than they ever did before. The track, obviously, going from not having a track to having a very nice track is going to be huge for the team. They built the throwing area just after I graduated, or as I was graduating, and that's really incredible to see the huge group of throwers they have being able to use multiple rings and being able to actually practice effectively out there. Back when I was a freshman, we were throwing off of a ring out in the middle of nowhere onto a dirt pile where they had dumped the dirt from like building the Union and other stuff. Then that turned into, we threw off the track over a barbed wire fence. I had to walk through, we made a homemade bridge out of old bleacher wood to walk over like a creek to pick up our implements that were 3 feet down into the mud. So things have really gone uphill quite a bit.